Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dalrin, and as of patch 6.1 in Warlords of Draenor, Leeching Poison has turned into a Leech Effect, giving you Leech up to 10%, and today we're going to test this ability of Leech, and going to see if it's viable for PvP whatsoever. We're going to test the ability, see it in action, and discuss if it's even viable to run in World of Warcraft PvP. First thing we gotta take a look at is what does Leech provide us as a rogue and as the stat itself. So once we slot in the Leeching Poison, and then we have to apply to our weapons, which I thought was weird that it's an actual poison you have to apply, not just some passive effect. Once applied to our character, Leech will grant us 10% extra healing on all damage and healing that we do. That means even recuperate, healing us, let's say for about 7k or so, Leech will heal us for 10% of that 7k. So the healing is definitely increased. Now let's test it with some other effects such as glyphs. When paired Leech with the Glyph of Recovery, we were going to see if the Leech effect, the actual 10% extra heal, is buffed on its own, but it's not. It seems only Recuperate on its own is buffed, and the Leech effect follows after it. So Leech doesn't benefit any of those other effects, and it's safe to say it doesn't benefit versatility. Though now we know parameters of Leech in self-healing, let's test it in actual PvP. So to really test the ability, I decided to go into Ashran. In Ashran, I decided I'm going to try to get myself in situations where I am going to be surrounded by more than one person. Maybe get myself in a 2v1 situation, maybe a 1v1 situation, to really test out the Leech on its own. I did not use any damage boosters or any of that sort, any items from Ashran, in order to get as much of raw data as possible. And I got myself into some good situations. I thought they were a pretty good test space for me to really see the healing and potential of Leeching Poison. To maximize Leeching Poison, I did roll Glyph of Recovery, and I did try to keep up Recuperate when I could in order to maximize any kind of healing that I'm able to receive. I tried to keep Slice and Dice rolling as best as I can, and to incorporate stunts into it as well. It's just I have now to manage 3 different things at maximum amount of combo points that I can possibly find. And maybe in a 1v1 situation against certain classes, Leeching Poison is okay. It's not that bad of a trait, but it kinda is carried by the actual defensives, such as the wall, that we have combat readiness, and then we have evasion and cloak. I honestly would feel Leeching Poison is okay when it comes to actual raw healing, but it's not a major heal, at least in PvP situations. Again, it is mostly carried by the ability of cooldowns that rogues overall have, the awesome, amazing defensive cooldowns, everything from Vanish to Evasion to whatever, as well as our CC. On its own, the ability does have moments where it shines, and usually those are the moments of, like, if you're able to line up some crazy amount of burst damage, you're able to maybe bring yourself up from 25% health to 45 or so. But it's not a huge heal. I'll stress this over and over. The healing for Leeching Poison on its own isn't major. It's not something game-breaking. It's not revolutionary. I couldn't mark it as like the greatest thing since sliced bread. But it's okay, it's alright of an ability. The ability did definitely change over time. The actual 10% Leech is much stronger than whatever the effect was for Leeching Poison prior to this. It's definitely a buff to the ability and a good step to, for the devs. It's an interesting project that I decided to undertake of really trying it out. In the end result, it's alright. It's okay on an ability. I used to kind of laugh a little bit every time I saw somebody running around in a battleground with Leeching Poison, and I used to chuckle a bit when people would say that it's really a legitimate poison when it comes to PvP. It's just not strong, it's not viable. Even right now, I will still roll Elusiveness over Leeching Poison in serious PvP, but in the battlegrounds, I'm not gonna mock you for running Leeching Poison. If you're just a casual PvPer, it's not that bad of an ability anymore. In terms of raw healing, I decided to compare it with PvP and PvE stats, just going to hit the Warlock, which is actually, I think, the strongest horde NPC to solo as a rogue on your own, without any extra items. And the amount of healing it does isn't major whatsoever. I had to maintain my rotation properly, I have to line up my bursts together, and with that, the amount of work that went into it, the amount of concentration of a PvE environment, I was at most able to keep my health stabilized. At most, I wasn't able to get my health to, you know, increase and go up and just gain a ton of it in a short period of time. It's an okay ability, but I wouldn't take it in serious PvP. So the final verdict is Leeching Poison has been buffed, and it's an interesting ability. It is no longer the worst talent to pick out of the lineup, and it has some usefulness for it. But it's not a talent that I am going to be rolling with for serious PvP anytime soon. So this is my final verdict, and these are the results that I found for Leeching. Now this is a part of the video where I get to ask you guys a question. Would you be willing to use a Leech Poison? Are you using Leeching Poison? And do you like the new Leeching Poison? Let me know in the comments below. My name is Dalrent, testing out the PvP potential for Leeching Poison, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys having a good one, and I'll see you guys in the next one.